Big guys that you've added to your team, but what can we expect from them in the paint, do you think, so far, what you see?
Well, we definitely look better in the airport this year with some with our size, with the 5 new big guys. But hopefully, I will be able to figure out during this practice session what each of them are good at, what they need to get better at. And that's what this is really all about. It's like our spring football practice to try to assess what our new guys got a chance to be effective at. Try to tailor our offense to our players every year, but also teach them how to play hard. Make sure those big guys are going to rebound. That's a big. Doesn't help to be big if you don't dominate the paint. So we try to impart a little bit of our toughness level and how we try to do things to those guys, how to use their size and not just look good. You got to dominate.
Coach, just one day of practicing already, but how different does this team look as you see him come out here this year? Oh,
I mean, we're a completely different basketball team. Built last year around our 3 seniors. And defensively, we're going to be much different, but we got to find a way to be just as effective defensively. But because of our size, we might have to play some more zone, depending on the lineups we play. And we're not going to be able to do some of the things we were able to do with our versatility. Justin Jackson can guard your point guard, so can Titus Rubel. So that's one thing about being big. There's disadvantages to it as well. People try to bring your big guys out on the floor, so we got to figure out how we're going to be able to play our pick and roll defense. Be a big adjustment for us. So we need time to work on that because it makes it a different coverage for our guard. So not just for the big guy, but the guard. It was last year he was switching. Now he's not in the pick and roll situation. So just a lot of different things, a much different team. And then offensively, we got to figure out where we're going to get our bread buttered. And it'd be nice to be able to have 5 guys in double figures and average 80 a game. So that's our goal. If we could get there, I'm not sure about that, but how we're going to get there, we're trying to figure that out right now as well. And try to figure out who's good at what. Again, with 7 new guys out there, it's a totally different dynamic. But our leadership's been good. Shaq Thomas is being aggressive, which is something I'm really happy about. And he's got to be aggressive for us this year.
Have you had any conversations with any of those guys specifically? You mentioned Shaq in there, but just guys, you're like, hey, look, 3 seniors are gone. You guys got to step up now. Is there one?
Oh yeah. Well, we've had. I had that conversation with all 5 of the returning guys that played last year. Those 5 guys got to make a huge difference for us this year. They got to be aggressive at all times. They got to show leadership in every practice. Their intensity levels got to step up on a regular basis. Those guys, they got to become SK and Justin and Titus. And they got to make sure they're bringing the intensity every day. The results will follow. Those guys got enough talent. They just got to play at the level of intensity that our seniors did last year. And it's just a process. That's what makes college coaching fun. I think a lot of college basketball fans like that because you get to see kids evolve and develop. Guys aren't the same player year to year, and you got to make sure your guys continue to improve. We really hang our hat on that. We've got to have guys improve. That's really how we've been able to get the job done around here.
Mick, what do you most hope to take away from this trip to Bahammas?
From the crab table.
What do you guys have some downtime?
Oh yeah, no, we're absolutely. Team bonding is just as important as the practices and the X and O's. So we've already got plans and do all kind of stuff together as a group. Obviously, for me, sunblock's important. But yeah, all that stuff is important. Off the floor as well as on the floor. Especially when you got all these new guys, and you got to become a team that cares about each other and is willing to fight for each other to get wins. When the going gets tough. So it's a huge advantage to be able to do this. It's my 3rd time doing it, and in my other seasons we really reap the benefits just from the time spent together. Maybe more so than the basketball piece.
Mick, some of this experience for those guys has to be something that they'll never maybe do again in their lives, and the culture, seeing a different culture. I mean, it's something you don't learn in a classroom. Also, it's probably a good experience for these guys that lasts them a lifetime.
Yeah, you know, that's another part of it that I'm sure that they want to see the beach. You know, so you know, so for those guys, better go downstay, spend 5 or 6 days at Atlantis, you know, and hit the pools. You know, it's not like, you know, we want to play well, and I'm more concerned with the practices. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're having some fun and getting ready for the season. You know, this is all a process. And team bonding, having fun, getting a chance to go to the Bahammas as a group together, to be able to provide that experience for the guys is a great thing. You know, and kids work really hard. They deserve it. They earned it. I know SK and Justin are a little upset they didn't get to go to the Bahamas. We went to Ottawa, Canada. You know, the Parks, Jaquan Parker's on the staff now, so he's pretty happy about it.
In the short time frame that you have, how hard is it to implement all the new stuff for these young guys, and opposed to letting the older guys, the veterans, get their share in as well, and do things they need to do to get themselves ready? It's kind of a split kind of thing for you in a short time frame.
I think that what I've tried to do the last 2 times I did this was just pick a few things we want to work on, and whatever those few things are, let's work on that. Like, so if you have a returning team, it's different. You got everybody back, you can fine-tune your offense. And with this group, we got to learn how to play defense. We got 7 guys that have no idea how to play defense. When you're playing high school and junior college, you just kind of stand behind people and don't foul.
Right.
So for us, we got to learn how to defend, and we got to learn how to compete at the level that Cincinnati's used to competing at and try to win. You got to compete at a certain level to win a championship, and that's a big process part of it for us. So defense and competitiveness, really. And then the third part is we're just working on the individual offense. One-on-one skills, our shooting, really trying to put a lot of individual development time in. And when I watch the guys play one-on-one, the more I can see who's good at what, it allows me to try to assess what we need to do when we get back and get ready in the fall, and, you know, offensively, some of the things we're going to need to do so I can evaluate the guys.
I know Octavius is excited to be back. How much has he changed as a player and as a person as you see him?
Well, he's much older. You know, when I recruited Octavius, I thought redshirting, he'll be a backup for 2 years, and then for 2 years he'd be a really good player. When he gets to 220, you know, now he's 6'10", 225, so he came in at 6'9", 185. Maybe he had to run around the shower so he didn't go down the drain. So he's a different guy physically, but he's matured a lot. I think the biggest thing that the junior college guys come in with is they have no sense of entitlement. They've been riding on buses and eating McDonald's for pregame. You know, so there's a reason he's so happy to be here. I think it's good to have him back. You know, I love him, and you know, but a lot of it is the way we do things here. You know, he's happy to be back and living in University Park apartments, and the meal plan's a little bit different at this level than it is at junior college. So, but that's all good. You know, guys need to see that. You know, he can tell the guy, you know, some of the young guys, hey, trust me, you don't want to mess this up. This is as good as it gets, and he had to fight hard to get back here. So I'm proud of him. He did a great job in junior college, led his team to the national tournament. He was first-team All-American, and he earned his way back.
SK really did well in summer ball, I think. Do you still think he deserves a shot to play in the NBA?
Oh, I'd be shocked if he didn't play in the NBA. In fact, what I try to tell him, you're better off not getting drafted late in the second round by a team that's going to just tell you to go to Europe, a team with 17 guys with guaranteed contracts and nowhere to put you. And they can own your rights for a year and just tell you, hey, play in the D-League or play in Europe. You know, as a free agent, you get to kind of pick the best option out there for you. So, you know, I think it's imperative that his agent does a good job and make sure that they survey the landscape and find the right spot for him, because he's an NBA player, so I'd be shocked if he didn't make it.
What's the biggest challenge of replacing a guy like that?
You know, I don't even, it's just a different season, so I don't think about replacing SK or replacing Justin. It'd be different if they got hurt in the middle of last year, and then you got to try to figure out how to replace them. College basketball is, you know, we're used to guys graduating and guys moving on, so it's just part of what we do. You plan ahead for it, and it's just a whole different team. So, you know, I'm not looking for anybody to go out and average 22 a game. I'm all for somebody doing that, but I'm not putting that on one guy saying, well, hey, you got to replace SK. You know, whoever starts early in the season at 2 guard, I'm not looking for them to do what SK did. It's unrealistic. I mean, we got to find our identity as a team this year, And that's what this is about. And last year doesn't matter. You don't get to carry those wins over. When we get into conference play, everybody will be 0-0 again and try to figure out who wins the American.
Is there anyone that's coming back that you see as taking on the leadership role, like Troy Copain or maybe Jermaine Sanders?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think all 5 of them are capable of it, and so I want all 5 of them to do it. I didn't want to leave anybody out, whether it's so Jermaine has been much more vocal, so is G. But I want to, and Shaq is really stepping to the plate. I think he's a guy that's got. We think we all know he's got great potential. He needs to be more consistent with his effort and aggressive at all times. But I wanted Kevin and Troy to feel a part of that too, because they're returning and they played a lot, and we need them to play well this year. So I just try to put on all 5 of those guys. You're going to determine our success this year, not just by how you play and how hard you play, but you got to pull these other guys up to our level. You know, that's what we're about. You got to get these other guys up to playing at Cincinnati basketball with the same intensity. So they've all done a good job of it. You know, I've tried to. I think as a coach, you try to empower guys. So I didn't want to eliminate any of those 5 guys from that and just put it on 1 or 2 guys. But Jermaine Sanders has talked more in the last 4 months than he has in 3 years. Right, G?